Hello, everyone, and good evening. It is Tuesday, January 31st, so last day of the month. I hope that everyone's had a great month. I'm Christopher Lewis with the Lewis Real Estate Group, and this is my weekly live Q&A. So for those of you that are just tuning in or just watching this after I record it, um, the live Q&A format is pretty simple. I'm just here to literally just be here for you. So if what questions that you have, I would love for you to ask, and I'll answer them live. And I usually start out with a market analysis and a market update to allow people to get on and view my live, and hopefully prompt some questions. I'll talk about the market a little bit. I'll talk about buying and selling. And if it relates to you, or if you have any questions, that's what tonight's all about. There's no sales pitch. There's no obligations. There's no pressure. It's legitimate. I come from a firm belief that it's education first, especially when it comes to real estate. And so my ultimate goal is to be able to educate you, so you feel confident when you're going into buying and selling a home. And I would hope that we could build a lot of trust together, and that I would be your go-to realtor for that. But there's never under any obligation. You'll never get any pressure to buy or sell here. It's just simply a open forum for you to learn questions that you know or that you don't know and that you are curious about. So let's kind of get going with the market update. I do appreciate everybody who does tune in for this, and we're going to start with the market update here that I normally do. Okay. So I know I'm still trying to figure out how to make this screen larger for you to see, but until I get that figured out, this is what we get. And so so hopefully you can see this. What we get, and so hopefully you can see this rather well, but I will go through kind of the last week. So last week was January 22nd. We had about 1,555 active homes and 808 pending homes. We've had 3,853 homes sold in the last 6 months. That's the number that's going to give us our months of inventory. And that's how we know what's going on in the market. So we have 1,500 active homes, 808 pending, 3,853 homes sold. We have a months of inventory of 2.4 months. So still very low inventory. We are seeing the inventory rise a little bit over January, and I'm curious to see what February is going to bring. But all indicators are that our market is going to go into the spring and be stronger. Things have picked up a little bit after Christmas and after the New Year's settled in, and people are starting to go to. So the difference between last week and this week, we have 1,502 active, so less active homes currently on the market, and more pending homes, 899 pending homes. So we go from 1,555 active homes to 1,502 active homes, and we go from 808 pending homes to 899 pending homes. Even the solds and closed they actually went down slightly, and that's going to happen, week to week as homes fall off and more pendings. So I'm expecting to see this number go up next week a little bit. We'll see what it does. But that's real meta data, and so the bigger picture is what matters, and that's our months of inventory and our market averages. So our market average price list to sales ratio is 99%. That means that sellers are getting about 99% of what they're asking for. And that's the average across the whole market. You can see that I have different price points broken down, and all of those price points are slightly different depending on where you're at. But most people are going to fall into that first time home buyer category of, 100,000 to 300,000. In those three, those would be your first three here, three slots here. And you can see that the inventory is super low in those, a month or less of inventory. Once you get to the 300,000 up to 700 grand, really all the way up, except there's an anomaly down here, but you're looking at more of a balanced market with 3 to 4, 5, even 6 months of inventory. So if you kind of go backwards, look at the difference between the higher priced homes here to here. You are seeing them all go up. It starts here, and it starts in these high priced homes, and it starts to trickle down. So we will see these start to increase in inventory and estimated months of inventory, which is really good for both sides, seller and buyer. But right now, sellers are getting what they're asking for. However, they are giving up a little more concessions than they have in the past. Concessions are closing costs. Sellers are starting to pay a little more in closing costs, or they're starting to help pay that rate down for the buyer even. So we're not seeing that on a major scale, but we are seeing it enough to know that that's this shift in the market a little bit. Is it seasonality? Is it interest rates? Is it the post-COVID? It's probably all of those factors. So again, week to week, the market is stabilized, pretty stable this whole entire month. And it's interesting to see what will happen come February. If you have any questions about the market, or you would like to have those updates, I do have those updates available for a PDF. All you would need to do is leave your name, your email address to me, private message me, send me your email, and I would be happy to add you into a weekly market update in that way. I do buyer market updates and specifically too. So anything that you would like to do. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for any questions that anyone has. If you have a question, if you're watching live, go ahead and feel free to ask questions. I'll talk about the market there. Oh, Jeff Smith just said, "Hey, Chris. Hey, buddy, how are you? Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you watching. How you doing?" That's awesome, man. We got to hang out sometime. It's been a little while, so I miss seeing you. You still doing stuff with Variety? Also, while you're answering that, we've got, if I've been pre-approved and then make a major purchase like a vehicle, how does that affect my approval? So that's a really, really good question. That's a really good question there. So when you're pre-approved, you're approved for a certain amount of home. based on your debt and your income and your credit score. So debt to income, or DTI, and your credit score are your two driving factors for your pre-approval. So if you, let's say you get pre-approved for a $200,000 home, they're basing that off of that debt to income and your credit score, because your credit score affects your rate, and your rate is going to affect your buying power. So if you add more debt onto your current income and you don't raise your income by any, then that is going to reduce your buying power, and your pre-approval will now be affected by either A, you will now have to buy a lesser priced home, or B, it could knock you out completely to any type of home that you might want. So if you are thinking about getting a home and buying a home and getting pre-approved, then what you're going to want to do is hold off on any major purchases, hold off on getting any major credit cards, or unless the loan officer tells you to get one to help you with your score, making sure that your debts are low. Now, if you already have a card, you already have a car. That's already your payments, already your debt. So there's nothing you can do about that. But you do want to avoid putting money on credit cards and incurring any additional debt if you're thinking about buying a home. Buy the home first, then do the rest, because your home is going to be your biggest portion of your cost to live, and that's true whether you rent or buy. And so that's the other conundrum, that we're having right now, is that, and that was a great question. So I appreciate you asking that. But that's the conundrum that we're finding buyers in right now, is that the rentals are just continuously going up and up and up, and so for the same price that you're renting, or even less, you can probably get the same type of home that you currently rent, if you're renting a single family home, or you could essentially pay a little more and get a better home. So, if again, buying a home is something that you're wanting to do, the very first step that you need to take is to get qualified. You have to see if you qualify. It's probably the scariest step, because what if they say no? Well, they're going to say no if you don't try anyways, right? Because if you're not asking, you're not going to get. So the answer is always no, unless you put yourself forward. So getting pre-approved and getting pre-qualified with a trusted mortgage company is the very first step that I tell all of my buyers. When they come to me, we have that conversation, we get that done, and then we move to the next steps, because you can't do anything else until you get that. Lots of buyers want to wait to find the perfect home and then get pre-approved. And I always think that that's definitely the wrong way to go, for multiple reasons. One, if it takes you a few days, if it takes the loan company a few days to get you pre-approved, you've now found that home, identified that home, like that home, and now you have to wait, and that gives someone else an opportunity to buy that home. Plus you need to know what your payment is going to be on that house. The taxes are different. And we need to make sure that you can qualify for that type of house. So getting pre-approved is always the first and most important aspect of buying, when you're buying a home and when you're selling a home too. To sell your home, there's a lot of factors that go into that. How much is your home worth? What's your net proceeds going to be? And what can you get approved for the next one? You need to know what that payment is and how much debt that is, to see if you need to sell your current home. And most people do, because they're going to use their down payment or their proceeds towards the down payment on their next home. But first-time home buyers don't have to worry about that. So your first step as a first-time home buyer is to just get pre-approved. And if you're just tuning in, we're in the Q&A section. So if you go ahead and ask any questions that you might have, I'm here to answer anything that comes up. And there is no stupid question, So don't feel dumb. There's so much stuff out there, and there's honestly, there's almost too much information, that there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet. And so even if you read something and you're not quite sure, or you want to ask about something that you read, let me know. I'm happy to answer it. And we'll keep this kind of going until the questions kind of cease to exist, or we hit 7 p.m. So again, I'm just here to answer any questions that you have. So I was just talking about this question had come up about getting pre-approved and making a major purchase like a vehicle. I discussed a little bit about that and making sure you're keeping your debt low, and then going into getting approved and see what you qualify for a home is going to be your very, very first step. Once we establish that first step in qualifying for a home, then your next step is we would sit down and we would actually go through the process of buying a home. So then that's when I will talk to you about the additional cost of a home. We're talking about your down payment. We're talking about your closing costs. So if anybody has any questions on what those mean, let me know. We're going to be talking about your inspection costs. Inspections are super important when buying a home. And it's something that I always recommend to all my clients, is to get the home inspected. That's additional cost. Earnest money is another cost that you have to put down. It's an upfront deposit that you're going to have to put down. And all those costs are different, so they can change depending on how much of a home that you're going to buy. So essentially that's the process in buying a home. And then I just like to make sure that we go through with it, that I'm thorough with you as we go on to the next steps and the next steps. So you're informed as a buyer, and so you have the confidence to make this purchase. It's a major purchase, but owning a home, I can contest, there's no greater feeling than owning your own home. And making that mortgage payment every month, you've got to pay for housing no matter what. So you might as well own and build equity in a home while you're doing that. So equity can go up pretty significantly. When the market is good and the market doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Yes, it's slowed down a little bit, and that gives me more time to do things like this. But it's not nowhere near dead at all, and if anything, it's starting to pick up. So if anybody else is watching here, if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm just going to kind of sit back a little bit, and maybe I'll go through some frequently asked questions. Here's, so sometimes when you're working with a professional realtor, what value do I bring to the table, right? Because so as a professional, my main job is to be your fiduciary. So I'm in your corner. I'm looking out for you. My goal is to create a win-win for both sides. That is always the goal for me. When you're going into it, win-lose, like I want to win and I want that other person to lose. You're not going in it in the right mentality to buy a home for yourself. You want to have, of course, everyone wants a great deal, and I want a great deal on my home. But what makes a great deal, right? Is it, sellers aren't just going to take whatever you offer and lowballing them and stuff like that. If you're an investor, it's a little different, right? Because you're going to be writing lots of offers and you're kind of seeing what sticks. When you find a home you love that you want to own and move into, it's a totally different mindset. And so the goal is for me to figure out what your goals are. What do you need? Do you need seller credits? Do you need help with your interest rate pay down? Is if you don't need those, then we can work with the price a little bit. Every situation is different. How long has a home been on the market? And so everybody's situation is different. So my job as a professional is to understand your situation, and then try to help get you to that end goal. And I do that by understanding the market, knowing the market, understanding your specific scenario, working with the other agents, taking the emotions out of it. It can be an emotional process when you've got two people negotiating, and that's why you have professionals here. You talk to me, I turn it into a professional conversation over to the other side. So and I do that. I'm not gonna lie, I do that fairly well. So I'm pretty cool. But yeah, so you're getting professionalism, you're getting knowledge, expertise, you're getting your fiduciary duty. I'm insured, so you're getting the benefit of that in case paperwork goes awry. I have E&O insurance for that kind of stuff. So you're getting someone who can help you negotiate, right? And as a professional, a lot of buyers don't realize that they don't pay our real estate fee. So how do I get paid? Obviously with my job, I don't work for free. And I can't say that I always don't work for free, because that's we get paid out of the equity of the home. And so it's never guaranteed. Our income's never guaranteed. So we can work for months and months and have nothing. We work for nothing until it closes. But when it does, we're paid out of the equity of the home for now. Now there are lawsuits going on right now with the National Association of Realtors, going probably all the way up to the Supreme Court regarding that, and that could change. But until that does, that's how it works. So essentially, as the listing agent negotiates a commission that they're charging their seller, that listing agent then splits that commission with the buyer's agent. And it's as simple as that. So as a buyer, my services are virtually free to you. So my services, there's a $550 broker fee that all brokerages charge to do their back end stuff. That's part of what I consider closing costs, just like the bank does. We have those kind of costs, just like that. That's about all you pay, and you pay that at close. So yeah, I mean, as a buyer's agent, our services are virtually free to you, and I work really hard to help you get closed and into your home. The other thing I do is I help you find homes. I help show homes, look for any red flags before we even put an offer in, and discuss going through the offer and stuff like that. Just got another question here. How much work history is required? So that's a really good question. Work history it just depends, honestly, on what is going on. So every situation is different. So typically, if you're self-employed, you have to typically have a job for 2 years, 2 years of work history. That can be different depending on how many jobs you've had, how much of a gap has been in employment, why the gap was, and what was going on. Just a few months of employment can be enough. And so if you're just now starting a job, or you're worried about your work history, that's something to get a hold of me and let me know. We'll go through that, because we'll get with the lender and have them take a look. And if it's not quite enough, then boom, then And once you figure out, okay, well, I need 2 more months of work history. Well, bam, now we have a target. We have a target for you. So now we're looking at, okay, you can realistically buy a home in 3 months. So then we start that process in a couple months, in 2 or 3 months. And so that will really give you your target when it comes to getting pre-approved. So work history is different. It varies. And speaking with a lender, there's a lot of different options out there. Also comes down to how much money you have down, what your credit score is too. If you have a lot of money down, work history might not matter as much, right? So there's a lot of factors into that. And if you want to know more, if anybody out there has any questions about work history, shoot them over to me or private message me. I'd be happy to discuss that. So looks like we got about 5 minutes here. So if any last questions, go ahead and comment them, and I'll answer those until the questions kind of stop. When I hit about 30 minutes, unless there's a ton of activity going on, I'll usually end my live in about 30 minutes. If people are asking questions and engaging a lot, then I will keep it going up to 7 o'clock until that stuff kind of dies down. So I do really appreciate everybody who tunes in to watch these, and they do get recorded. So you can always go back and see those recordings. My YouTube channel, you just got to look up the Lewis Real Estate Group, and on YouTube, I have an Instagram at SoldDSM. My website, www.solddm.com. You can go look at homes there and check out that. And so if you got any questions, all my socials are available. You can DM me in any of those facets. Of course, I have my business Sold DSM on Facebook, and then my personal page, which is where I stream from. And so you can ask me any questions on any of those forums, and I'd be happy to assist you if you're looking, to buy a home, or just get some questions answered. So. Do you guys hear the jazz music in the background? I don't know if the mic's picking it up or not. Maybe I'll turn it up a little bit. Keeping it light, keeping it real. Oh, one last thing. I will be doing an event, the premiere of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is coming up on February 16th, 17th, and 18th. I think those are the 3 dates. I am going to be hosting that. I'm paying for tickets for that. So if you're hearing it here first, I will be creating an event. I had it open to all my clientele for a while, and now I've still got seats available, and so I'm going to be opening it up to the public. So if you are wanting to get some tickets for Ant-Man and the Wasp, I will be hosting. I've rented out a theater, so free tickets to the movie February 18th at 6:30 at the Palms Theater in Waukee. So if you are interested in coming, RSVP me, if you're interested in coming, hit me up and I will send you a link so you can RSVP. And you can put how many tickets that you want and stuff like that. So you heard it here first. And so I will be creating an event probably tomorrow with the details of the event, of the movie event, so people can kind of start signing up, and I can fill up these seats. So it's premiere weekend, so I bought out the entire theater, and so that's 55 seats. So I do have plenty available. If you are again interested, hit me up and message me and let me know, and I'll get your information, and I will get you some tickets set up, and we can RSVP and get that going. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody who's tuned in today. I'm going to get out of here. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys. I'll see everybody again next week. If you know anyone who is, hello. I'm just about to wrap up, but if you have any questions, I'll answer them. If you just stopped in to say hi, I appreciate that a lot. So again, if you know anyone who is looking to buy or sell, they've indicated to you that that's a goal of theirs this year. Let them know about my event. Hit me up, have them get a hold of me. I'd be happy to talk to them, or they can come and check out my live on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Times can vary just depending on if I have showings. But I try to get them wrapped up before 6. So So awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week.